are your roles in the construction process?
I am on the HVAC side of the design, so I do heating, cooling, ventilation, and air conditioning systems within buildings. And I work with the architect who typically designs the plan and the envelope of the building, but I'm also consulting prior to the final project being done. So I'm often influencing what windows might be selected, what the orientation of the building is, how many people are going to be in the building, because the HVAC system is one of the most expensive operating systems within the building, and we can influence how much heating and cooling is required based on the decisions that the architect's making about the envelope or the layout of the building. And so that communication is happening very early on. I'm communicating with the structural engineer and the electrical engineer and the plumbing engineer, because all those pieces and parts are influenced and influence my system. So do I have enough clearance above the ceiling for my ductwork? Or is the roof going to be able to support my HVAC equipment? And I'm also talking to the architect as far as, can I put this up on the roof from an aesthetic standpoint? Where can we put a louver without it being seen as a wart on the building? How do we make an architectural feature that ties into the building? And then I will work with the construction side of the building process, defining what is it that I need to happen in what order, or what quality of product needs to be installed. Do I have issues with air quality? Do we need to make sure the ductwork's protected from dust and dirt during the process, and those types of things as we move through the entire construction process? And I think early on, the entire design team is educating the owner on what they need and why we might invest in certain things, even though they might be a little more expensive up front, how it can pay off in the life cycle.
Could you tell me your name, please?
Yes, my name is Ray Buell, Assistant Professor in the Department of Architectural Engineering and Construction Science.
Thank you. And what are your roles in the construction process, and how do you work with the architect?
That would depend on the project delivery method that you're using. If it was a traditional design bid build project, typically you have no involvement during the design process. The architect and engineers come up with the entire set of contract documents, the bid documents, and then at that point it's turned over to contractors to bid the job, and then they're selecting the lowest responsible bid. However, if you were to go with the design build delivery method, then the contractor is very integral from day one in the design process. Same thing if you're using construction manager or construction manager at risk. You're getting the input from the contractor from day one before anything is laid out in terms of design, so that you've got the benefit of means and methods and input from the contractors to best practices to come up with the most cost-effective design. So it all depends on what delivery method you use.
Whenever you're ready.
My name is Kimberly Kramer, and my specialization is structural engineering for buildings.
Okay. So what are your roles in the construction process, and how do you work with the architect?
My role is to make what the architects want the building to look like, structurally sound, in other words, so when people walk into the building doesn't fall down on them.
Concrete.
Say it again.
Limestone.
Go.
Tile.
Go.
Steel.